Hey everybody, it is Mental Freedom Day 4, and today I wanted to talk about how we all have these big goals. Like, the ultimate goal is obviously complete mental freedom, never looking at pornography for the rest of their life, the rest of my life, that's mine. But to get to that, we've got all these goals in between that also would need to happen, like 5 years sober, like 1 year sober, like 90 days sober, like 30 days sober, all the way down. And a lot of people ask, like, well, how short should my goal be? Like, how do I go up in small enough increments that it's reachable, but it's not so high and lofty that I kind of lose sight of it? Because a lot of people have that 90 days circled, underlined, highlighted, bold, and they never can make it past 30. And 90 just seems crazy because that's triple. So we really have to work backwards. We get stuck on that final piece of the puzzle of when I finally put that last piece in, everything's just going to magically happen. And then I'll be confident, then I'll be this, then I'll be that, then I'll have everything figured out. And that's just not the case. So we got to work backwards in the sense of, first of all, what is the proper goal? And many would argue that is that 90 days. But like we just talked about, probably too far. We'll say 30 days. But even that's too big. A week? Too much. 3 days? Great, but still too much. And honestly, I think that goal should always be 24 hours. 1 day. Anybody can do 1 day. Anybody has been able to do 1 day. And if you have that mindset of, I've done 1 day, so I can do 1 day tomorrow. And I can do 1 day the next week. And I can do 1 day the day after, and the day after that, and the day after that, etc. But goals isn't enough, as you guys know. If you just have a goal, but you don't have anything in place to attain that goal, then it's just some words on a piece of paper or a thought in your head. So how do you achieve 24 hours? So we're going one step back. So how do you do that? You set standards, and you get rid of triggers, and you destroy material, and you get rid of access to those sources that were making you relapse. So to quick summarize that, get rid of sources with internet blockers and destroy any physical material. And then 2, identify triggers, get rid of those as much as humanly possible. And then identify boosts. So these are things that are going to help you. These are things going to get you to your goal more efficiently, more effectively. You have a higher chance of it. Anything along those lines, such as meditation, such as healthy habits, positive friends that you can have as accountability partners, anything along those lines. So that sounds like a lot. And we kind of are focusing on things that you can get rid of, as well as things you can add. Because if you just get rid of something and you don't add anything, you're feeling empty, as we've talked about in a previous video. But with that being said, some people ask, like, what do you mean by a standard? Like, your standards, are these like habits? Is it like a routine? And yeah, sorta. But these are things that you recognize as they very regularly lead you to a relapse, or very regularly kind of remove some mental fog, make you feel happy in a healthy way, and are aiding you in your journey. And those are obviously opposites there. So one would be a trigger, one would be a boost. And you write them down, and you say, this is something I always will do. I will always make my accountability calls. I will always meditate. I will always get up immediately and not lay around in bed. I will always take a cold shower, stuff like that. And then stuff on the other side of the equation, those are nevers. I will never have Snapchat on my phone. I will never sit down in the shower. I will never, the list goes on and on. So you guys got to identify those for you to understand what is affecting you, what is your niche as far as this addiction and what your brain is seeking out, because it's different for everybody, and everybody's at a different stage. No one addiction is better than another, but they can progress and get a lot more unhealthy and potentially dangerous to yourself and others. So the next question would be, so what do you mean? What do you mean by standards? We kind of covered that, but like, what if I don't feel like it? What if I'm sick? What if it's super inconvenient? And the answer to that is do it anyway. The answer to that is do it anyway, 100% of the time. And then the follow-up would be, okay, well, I'm a human. I'm not perfect. I'm not a machine. I'm not that consistent. I would like to be, but what happens if I miss a standard? What happens if I mess one up? And the answer then would be forgive yourself and learn. Because you are either learning or you're winning. You are either winning or you're learning. So if you're not winning, you are learning something from either your mistake or forgetfulness, anything along those lines, as how you can improve in the future. So if you miss one, write it down in your journaling at the end of the day. Write down how you're feeling sad, feeling tired, whatnot. Get it on a piece of paper. And then write down, all right, well, I forgot to do this today. I missed meditating today. And it's not like to beat yourself up, but it's just to recognize what happened, what went, what didn't, and then learn and move on accordingly. So this isn't rocket science stuff, guys. In recap, that 90 days seems crazy. A year sounds impossible for a lot of people. Forever seems like there's no chance, there's no way. How in the world are we going to reach that ultimate goal, if you will? Well, that would bring us to kind of a daughter question to that question is, how do you do your standards? How often do you do your standards? And the answer would be every single day that you want to achieve your goal. Because if those standards are going to get you to your goal and keep you from messing up, then I would recommend all of them every single day. Well, Caleb, that's way too hard. You can't expect that. All right, great. Well, do you want to achieve your goal or not? But it's just one day. Like, what's one day? All right, well, add up all the days. 90 days divided by 90 one-day goals is an achievement. Is hitting that benchmark. Is hitting that legendary day on the calendar of 90 days sober. But Caleb, it's not that simple. It is that simple. It's one day at a time. It's consistency, it's persistency, it's relentlessness on following your standards for yourself. If not for anyone else, do it for yourself, because you're worth it. And with that, guys, I wanted to simplify this as much as possible, break it down into the smallest, simplified, one-line thing. And that is, one day at a time, stay consistent. That's it. That is the success principle for literally everything in life. Best football players, guaranteed they practice daily, if not only 5-6 days a week, because you got to give your body rest and stuff like that with athletics. So giving themselves rest is actually part of their training. The best musicians, they practice every single day. The best writers, they write every single day. Even if they don't make progress, they are getting better. They are constantly in that learning curve. You guys might have heard the saying, to master anything, you have to put in 10,000 hours. 10,000, that's a lot of hours, but that is mastery, that's complete. self-mastery. And if you think about it, if you were constantly in self-mastery of yourself and you were doing that 24 hours a day, getting enough sleep, doing these healthy habits, and having the standards of do's and don'ts, always and nevers, that's 24 hours a day. And I honestly think that will not even be 3 years of complete self-mastery. And guys, this isn't just like you check off a box for, all right, I am free, I'm sober, I did it. Yes, that's exciting, but you have to understand there's so much more tied in with that. Like stress, like decision making, like health, like strength, like confidence, like attractiveness. The list goes on and on and on, and it is no wonder that there are plenty of successful people who live this as a lifestyle. I'm sure you've heard that from more of the seasoned veterans in the NoFap community, the NoFap lifestyle. It's because they never saw the 90 days as the end goal. They never saw it as, all right, I did it. We can just kind of stop doing all the habits that got me here in the first place. We're just going to wing it from this point forward. If it continues to work, great. If it doesn't, whatever. If we mess up, whatever. We hit our 90 days. We got to reset. No, it's a lifestyle, guys. It is a day in and day out, not struggle, but journey. And I cannot wait to continue this journey. Not to arrive. You don't arrive. The second you think you've arrived, you're falling backwards. Because if you think you're coasting, the only way you can coast is downhill. Chew on that one. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Mental Freedom Day 4. Over and out. See ya.